Hi guys! Welcome to Movie and Lee. Today we are going to review the true meaning of a movie named The Platform. The premise is very simple. There is a prison which is made in a vertical tower-like fashion. Each floor has 2 inmates and each person has to stay in their respective level for a month, and after that the level gets changed. The food is served through a platform once in a day for 2 minutes. But as we progress, we see that the food gets finished before it reaches to the lower levels. So the inmates there were bound to eat their meat in order to survive. One thing was that they were allowed to bring one thing with them for their time in the prison. Could be anything: a sword, knife, book or child. Our protagonist tries to understand the system and tries to give sufficient food to each level as though sending a message to the administration. That was the basic premise to the movie. Meaning, the movie actually describes our society in a capitalistic manner. Which quite frankly to me is a little better than communism. Well, capitalism says that we might have to cut heads, but communism says that there is always a head to cut. But that's a topic for a worldwide debate which won't matter at all because we are not the ones who make rules. You sure not be a communist, Mr. Goreng. Tremogas. Anyway, continuing. If you look in the ecosystem of the planet, everything is balanced. There is always something sufficient for everybody. From weakest of creatures to the strongest. Then why do we suffer? In the whole, we see that Goreng was getting interviewed before being sent, and they ask him about his favorite food as it will be there in the menu. So if they sent everybody's listed food on the whole, why didn't the food was enough for everybody? Because the people at upper levels are greedy. They want to have as much they can before time runs out. The platform/facility in the movie is our world, and the administration are the governments, and the levels are the social classes that are created. The administration, government, works with care, making sure there is sufficient stuffs for all the classes, but due to the flaws and corruption in the capitalist system, there are people suffering/dying. The administration enables the people on top to have an extravagant meal, at the expense of starving people at the bottom. Just like in society, people on top grab all resources, money, real estate, natural resources, leaving the bottom with nothing, and capitalism enables that. The cooks prepare an exquisite meal, but only people on the top level really enjoy it to the fullest. To the extent you could say the cooks only work for the people on level 1. As you could say capitalism only works for the 1%, or 0.3% if we go by the whole 333 levels. The protagonist, Goreng, represents a resistance movement who is ready to use threats and violence to secure that there is enough food for everybody. The old man, Trimagasi, represents a supporter of the system. The woman from the administration, Imogiri, represents a rebel with peaceful movement that wants change but is unable to do so. Miharu, who rides down the platform, actually represents the upper class. Trimagasi. He depicted the staunch supporter of the system. He understands the system very well and he decides to live his life surviving the flaws of system. Don't speak to the people below. Because they are down below. The people above won't answer. Because they are above. That's what his philosophy is. In a nutshell. He understands it pretty well that the people above are powerful. They control everything. It is in their hands what the people below would get to eat. What are we going to eat? Obviously, people above's leftover. Then he spits the food for the lower ones to eat. He knows that the people down are suffering because of the corruption and negligence of the upper people towards them. But he decides to live according to the system. The people below us are below us. But one day they'll be above us. Yeah, then they'll piss on us. So when Trigamasi was at the upper levels, he enjoys his time based on the life he gets there. He not only enjoys the food but also exploits it because he can do it. But when he gets into the lower level, he knows that the game has changed now. That he now doesn't have much privilege of good food to enjoy. Because in society too the poor and weak segment have difficulties in meeting their basic needs. Mr. Trigamasi, what does this whole society entails? Obviously food/eating. Sometimes it is hard and others easy. It depends on which level we are. We are at 48. It's a good level. This dialogue signifies that if you are at lower levels, you are actually at the lower region of the food pyramid. So in order to live, you have to take the toughest of decision, devour the person at your level. Because whether you accept it or not, but in the society strong always devours the weak. The system/society. If you pay attention, in the movie, we see that the inmates randomly shifted to different levels over the course of the movie. But it's not completely random. It's actually based on your choice what level you'll get. Administration makes sure that if you are willing to kill your fellow mate and devour the flesh, you'll get the upper levels. That is also how you get rewarded in life. This is evidenced a couple of times in the movie. At first Goreng starts on level 48 with Trimagasi and they live peacefully. Then they move down to level 171 the following month where Goreng ends up killing Trimagasi and eats of him to survive. Then Goreng moves up to level 33 the next month where he meets Imogiri and they live peacefully. Then they move down to level 171 the following month where Goreng ends up killing Trimagasi and eats of him to survive. Then Goreng moves up to level 33 the next month where he meets Imogiri and they live peacefully. Then they move down to level 202 where Goreng ends up killing Trimagasi and eats of him to survive. Then Goreng moves up to level 33 the next month where he meets Imogiri and they live peacefully. Then they move down to level 202 where Goreng is forced to eat of Imogiri who has killed herself. Then Goreng finally moves up to level 6 where he meets Baharat. That is the reason why we always see Miharu coming from top. It will go on forever because this what the system that we have made for us and the reason that it will never end. The director says the message of the movie is it is up to the society what they think of the message. By society, he meant us. Because the message was that panakota which symbolized that if the people above throw away their greed and only take what's there for them, balance be maintained throughout all the levels. Message was the baby girl. That if we do our tasks peacefully, if we burn away the greed, lust, the savage animal inside us and only take what's ours then there won't be any shortage of food/needs to the lower levels. The girl was a metaphor to that at the lowest of levels where due to this corruption, people were getting killed/suffered, when you do your job right, then even in those savage conditions, someone will live. Someone will get their food. They won't kill/fight/suffer because they won't be lacking anything. You see, attachment is an overrated phenomena. We like to clinch to things. We like controlling things. We are attached to our past because we want to control the outcome of the event that's happened, reliving that scenario again and again. We are clinging to people, to memories, to more food, more lusty adventures, more this more that. From body's desires to egoistic wants we want it all. And this makes us greedy, makes us desperate for it when we don't get it. And it bears anger which leads to suffering. Remember, the food only belongs to us till it's there on our level. If you keep it with you any longer, you'll be either burned to a cinder or the temperature falls till you freeze. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more video like this.